everybody! It's Thursday evening and I'm ready to play Banter Blitz with you again. International Master Sopiko Guramishvili for you and Chess 24. I hope you will enjoy the show. I know that we missed the show last Thursday, but we had it last Sunday because I was playing the Blitz tournament in Georgia. I'm right now in Tbilisi. I was playing Blitz tournament, Rapid and Blitz tournament in Tbilisi. Quite interesting one. It was not completely chess. It was Maya chess, which is very, very interesting. We had to take some positions out from a big box, and then we would play rapid games on it. It went very well for me. The next tournament, second tournament, was Fisher Random. I won that tournament with 6 points out of 7, and it was very surprising for me because I never played that chess. I never played Fisher Random. It was my first time, and I really loved it. The tournament was pretty strong. It was top 8 players of Georgia. It was women's section and men's section, so I finished third in overall with Maya chess and Fisher chess and won the Fisher tournament. So I think I'm in shape. Be careful. I'm gonna play some good games, I hope. Today, as you know, we're playing Banter Blitz, so please challenge me. My nickname on Chess24 is Sopiko, so challenge me with 5-minute blitz games, please. 5-minute blitz games, because I often see 3 minutes, but it's very hard for me to talk and to play at the same time. So stay focused and challenge me for 5-minute blitz games, and we're going to play a lot of games today. For coming hour, I'm here, so let's get started. I'm gonna go on Chess24 website, check the challenges. Check the challenges, and we can start our Banter Blitz. So I'm going to choose the premium members, and I'm going to choose John 25, who challenged me for 5-minute blitz game. I'm playing with black pieces, and there we go. E4. Hi Sopiko. Hi John. I'm going to play Sicilian. My favorite opening, Najdorf. If you have not checked it on Chess24, please do. I really recommend you to play Najdorf because it's full of counterplay and full of exciting positions. So if you're not for boring, dull positions, go for Najdorf. Let's see. Let's see which line John will choose from the Najdorf. John is from Spain. I love Spain. I love Spanish language as well. I understand a bit of Spanish. Well, I understand everything. I speak a bit, but I don't think I'm fluent in it. Bishop e3, that's quite a topical line, of course. I usually play e5 and not e6, and I like to put my bishop on e6 and then develop my knight. After f3, here white can also play queen d2, which I find quite interesting because it keeps the option of f4 as well. But f3 is, of course, main line. I tried bishop e7 in some games, and it was quite successful for me, but still I find knight bd7 to be easier to play. And what I'm going to try here is not the line I'm playing, but something extraordinary. B5 I usually play, of course. Bishop E7 is another line. So let's see what John will choose. For white, white's main idea, of course, in this line is to go G4, but usually white castles first. Also, there is G4, another line, to be quick. But the main idea of knight is the opposite castle attack. And if you have not seen my colleagues, Anna Rudolph's middle game shows about opposite castles, you definitely should do, because she explains it very well. A4 is another main line of this opening. After b4, knight d5 should be played, bishop d5, ed5, and knight b6 is the main line as far as I remember. And then follows like then follows like a5, rook a4. White's main point is to play for the b4 pawn, but there is usually sometimes threefold repetitions in this line, or if white wants to continue play, then it becomes very sharp. To be honest with you, I don't remember it exactly how it is best for white or black to continue the line, but I know the ideas. And generally in the opening, it helps you very much when you know the ideas, because you can even think and play that idea, or you can find it yourself. Okay, bishop c4. So the main point of this opening, I'm just thinking I should develop from g6, my bishop from g6 or from e7. I guess I would go g6, but it costs me another tempo, of course. So let's try bishop e7 first. And this is the repetition I was talking about. White can go here, queen e2, and rook a8, queen d2, rook b8. Knight c1 is another big line, and here goes a lot of complications. That's quite tough now for me, because for sure I have to castle, and then I'm gonna try to find some kind of counterplay on king side. Usually black breaks the center with e4, though I'm not sure that my bishop on e7 is standing perfectly. There is no more repetition, at least. But b3, I'm not big fan of this move. Well, why not knight a2? That's interesting. I'm gonna go for e4, because white did not castle yet, so I'm gonna use that opportunity, and if he allows me to put my knight on e4, then I will have perfect square on c3. And when the e-file is open, it would be very dangerous for white. And my counterplay would be very, very dangerous, even if it costs me a pawn on b4. So white also has to be careful, because He might go for the pawn, but first he has to stabilize his king side and his king's position. If he manages to do everything, I'm going to take this pawn. If he manages to do everything, then my bad. I'm going to lose this pawn on b4. But I already like my position because I ruined the king side structure, which means that first I'm going to play... What I'm going to play first? I'm just wondering if I can play knight d7. I like this move very much because if he takes rook b4, I have bishop h4 perpetual, intermediate check. And here, I think I'm gonna go for... It also seems very interesting for me to go for bishop d8. But no, I'm going to go for knight e5. I'm going to give check here. And I'm going to play on dark squares. In this game, I have huge advantage in time, and that looks very good. But I'm not completely sure if my position has enough compensation for the pawn. Oh, he's very tricky. He wants me to take on d5, and then he wants to take on h7 so that I lose the that I lose my queen. But I'm not gonna allow that, so I'm going to take here, and then I'm going to take a5 pawn, and I think I'm doing fine. I'll put my bishop here. Knight e4, it's standing very good. Maybe it's better to play something like h6, not to allow knight to jump on other squares. I'm gonna go for rook e8 and rook e5 to put as much pressure on d5 pawn as possible. I can take... Whoa, I don't have so much time also. Okay, I won on time. Thank you very much, John from Spain, to play this game. It was very interesting game, and White showed very deep preparation in this line. First of all, what I want to mention is that White, of course, has in this line repetition, 3 times repetition. After this, bishop a4, rook a4, and rook b8. That's the drawback of the line, because when you want to play with black and when you choose neither and you're like, I'm going to have complex game and complicated game, there are many lines that end in threefold repetition. But this we cannot avoid in chess because White has little tiny advantage when he starts. So it means that he can choose lines where he can make draw. So the draw I meant is queen e2. I have to go rook a8 because I cannot take on a6, and queen d2 again. So I cannot castle, let's say. I have to play rook b8 once again to protect my pawn on b4. But thank you, John, for playing knight c1 because this shows that White is fighting for some advantage, and as he played in the game, knight a2 is the point of knight c1 or knight d3 to put much more pressure on b4 pawn. But as it happened in the game, after castle, black has some counterplay in the center with e4. So I think that we made it kind of clear what's going on in this line, the ideas and everything. So what I'm gonna do now is choose another player. And let's see who is another player. I'm gonna go for someone who challenged me a while ago, so that you guys don't think that I'm only choosing the recent ones. And I'm playing again with black pieces against German Schach Tommy. As far as I know, Schach means chess, so I'm playing with Chess Tommy. But he doesn't seem to be online. I'm gonna wait for him for 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna choose another one. Oh, there is he. There he is. Okay, again e4, c5, and c3. This is Alpine. Very solid line for white. I faced it many times. I cannot say that I have perfect results with it, but I have normal results. ED, I'm not sure about ED. D4 is the main line, and ED I have not seen so often. And now d4. Now, of course, I can transpose into c takes d4, but I'm just wondering what happens if I take bishop d6. Maybe he wants to play d takes c5, c4, knight goes back and take my queen. Okay, so I'm going to transpose into c d4, knight d4, bishop d6 lines. I quite like this position with black because I developed with one tempo. But after bishop d3, I'm just wondering if he has some kind of tricks. I don't think he has any kind of tricks if I will just castle. But I still prefer my knight to be on f6 to protect everything. So I'm gonna go knight f3 and knight f6. Knight f3 is quite interesting because what he wanted was that he takes bishop h7, then knight g5 and queen h5, very famous motif. Okay. I'm gonna go active. Gonna play knight f4, gonna play b6, hinting that maybe I want to play bishop a6, but he doesn't seem to care. That's quite good move because bishop c7, queen d8, rook d8. Take. I'm gonna be with weak pawn on h7. If I take on, yeah, I'm gonna take on e4 and I'm gonna play rook b8. If he wants to go in endgame, he can of course take on f4, bishop d6, queen d8, rook d8, but I'm gonna have two bishops. It's of course very close to equal, the position, but I would still prefer to play with white pieces. g3, I'm going to play knight g6 not to have any problems or any thoughts with ideas connected to sacrifice. I will try to change this bishop. Rook b7 is quite okay because I'm planning to play rook d7 afterwards. Rook d7, queen b8, and rook d8. This is my plan. It's very equal, the position, but of course we're not going to just accept the draw. Though I'm not sure for what I can play. If I'll play f6 and e5, then e6 might be a problem for me. I think I'm going to play some random moves for the moment, not to queen b7. I like to have this queen just on this diagonal. Who knows when I will use it. Now knight b5 is the threat. I'll drop this one back. And then I might have tiny advantage on a8 h1 diagonal, but not anymore because he played quite well. If I'll change, then it's going to be a draw. If I don't change, then knight c6 might be annoying. I have to change this. I don't have any other choice. I have to take this one, and just play this endgame. It's of course equal, but let's just try to play a bit more. King is very important piece in the endgame, so I centralized my king. Now I'm going to maneuver. Let's see if I manage to have something important. Okay, I'll grab some space. I'll give it a check. Let's try to change because all his pawns are on dark squares. I'm not afraid of... That's interesting. Bishop f6 was better to play. Okay, c5. I'll change. Bishop c5, a6, king d5. I have a little space here. Oh, he doesn't let me. Okay. Yeah, okay, he offers me a draw, so it's probably a draw. I'm going to accept the draw. Very well played, Shah. Tommy, very good game. No mistakes. The opening was quite equal from the beginning. Takes and bishop d6, bishop d3. We both played very normal, I guess. After castle and knight d7, my plan was to put the knight on f6 and then develop, but probably maybe b6 here was a bit more clever to play because first we need to develop and then to be active. I know these rules kind of very well, but it's not so easy to put it in practice. It was quite normal game, and I think we don't need to look at it so much. So let's go for another challenger, and I'm going to choose who I'm going to choose now. I'm gonna look at chat for a moment. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I see one question. Sopiko, do you play chess against Anish sometimes, or do you prefer to spend your time with non-chess stuff? Thank you for the question. It's a very interesting one. Well, I do play a game sometimes, but very, very rarely. Usually we are playing tournaments. Both of us are very busy. We're playing tournaments or we're training, and when we're together, we just spend some time in another way. For example, now I'm in Tbilisi, he's in Holland, so sometimes we're not together so often, but when we are together, we don't play as much as one would expect. If I visited Belgium, no, I was not there because I was playing my own tournament in Tbilisi, so I was not there. And what do I think about the Grand Prix attack against the Sicilian? It's very interesting opening if you have a style, if you have tactical style, and if you like complicated, complex positions, then Grand Prix attack is really interesting, but you also have to be brave and you have to be ready for sacrifices, because sometimes for initiative you have to grab this one, grab the moment, sacrifice a lot of pawns or even the piece, but you have to calculate it very well. To be honest, I'm not afraid of Grand Prix attack when I'm playing against it, but also I find it very interesting for white to play. What's my opinion about h3 variation against Sicilian? Raising pretty much. It does raise pretty fast. It's one of the main lines I consider to be very interesting and very playable against Najdorf. Bishop g5 is still in fashion, and I still think that it's most complicated line against the Najdorf, but h3 is very, very exciting to play, because even in Bishop g5, if you don't remember the lines and you mix up something, then you might get into trouble very, very quickly. But in h3 line, you don't have this problem, because usually the pieces go on same place, and you have clear plan of what to do. You have to be very quick. I don't say that any of those lines have advantage against Najdorf. I find it very interesting to play against h3, and if I started to play e4, I might have considered to play h3 as well. Do you prefer chess when you was an amateur or now as professional? That's a tough question. I prefer chess anyhow and anytimes. Being professional player, of course, is very different from being amateur player. I guess you mean that when I was amateur player, you mean when I was going to school or to university, I didn't have so much time for chess. But I like to be professional chess player because it's very interesting. I have a lot of tournaments. I travel a lot. I'm a travel freak. I love to see different countries. I love to visit many countries, and I really love to see different cultures and read about the countries I'm going, read about the culture. So being a professional player is really my thing. Okay, I think I'm really talking too much, so it's time for chess now. If you have any questions, please ask me. I think somebody says that stream is offline, had to refresh, but I guess everything's fine now. So guys, if everything is fine, please do write in chat that you can hear me and you can see that I'm going to play. Okay, Sama is asking me, play me. I'm your #1 fan. Thank you very much. I'm gonna play you. I'm gonna go and choose Sama. But first I need to find you. Okay, there you are. I found him. I'm again with black pieces. And he's Spanish. He started with English though. Okay, c4. That's the way I like to play actually with white. I started to play c4 and e6 is one of the moves I'm playing against. C4, but with b3. Let's see what he's going to do on c5. White has different plans here. He can take on d5 and allow me knight d5, or he can allow me to play d4 like it happened in the game now. Now we transposed into Benoni type of position, but I think that it's not best version for white to have this structure, because usually b3, bishop b2 is not in white's plan. I mean, in Benoni's plan. What usually happens is that knight a3 comes, knight c2, bishop d2, and white plays for b4. But in this one, of course, it's very playable. It's I don't say that black has any advantage now, but I also don't think that black has any problems. Queen c2. He doesn't want to castle. That's well, he did castle. E4. Now I have choice to take that one or not to take. I think I'm going to take. And let's see what's going to happen. Okay, let's try. Let's try to play on some weaknesses, if it's possible. E4, I don't like this move. It gives me, it just gives me the square on d4. That's why I played to provoke e4, but I don't think that he had to play e4. Queen c3 was possible, or knight h4. Actually, knight h4 I liked, because I wanted e4, so that was a bit of a trick from my side to go bishop f5 and ask, are you going to play e4, or you're going to play knight h4? Okay. If I talk so much, I also have to prove that e4 was not the best move. So how I am going to prove is putting pressure on d pawn. Queen b1. I also don't like this move. When there is e4 and e5 and such holes in the position, you have to try to put your knight on d5. Didn't he blunder the pawn just? I think so. Any tricks? Nope. H3 was just a blunder, I think. It seems it seems winning already for black. But it's a great position actually to talk about. Not this one, not this particular one, but I mean the structure. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna play knight g4, not to have any problems connected to other stuff. Then I'm going to put my bishop somewhere far to emphasize that the d3 pawn is also very weak. I don't see anything good for white here. Yeah, but pieces are too far, so I can give check, or I can give queen c2, king g1, knight d4. Does it give me anything? Knight d4, bishop d. Okay. I don't know why I should not take the exchange actually. Doesn't seem so good for black. Oh, sorry, for white. He's trying to attack me, but I don't know where he's going because queen is very far. I'm not afraid because you cannot do anything with one or two pieces on the king side when the main one is not in the game. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna take this one. And he resigned. Thank you very much for the game, Sama. It was very interesting structure, so I'm going to pause here a little bit and explain a bit of plans. So b3, here white has a lot of choice. One is to play with like this and d4. Another one is to play e3 and not allow d4. And another one is what happened in the game, g3, d takes, d4, d3, knight c6, okay, bishop d6, knight bd2, and castle, a3, a5, and queen c2, e5 and castle. We can stop here. Generally, the plan of Benoni is either to put some pressure in the center with e3, ed, have e file, then go knight h4, knight ed, cd usually, because if you allow ed, that's not very good for Benoni structure. Generally ed, cd, knight h4, f4 is some kind of ideas there, but also e4 was possible, and this looks that black doesn't have any problems for the moment. What I could do is maybe I could play on queen side, ignore the center, just play a4, or what could I play was also rook b8, b5 ideas, but it would be very closed game. I would still prefer to play with black because white's pieces are not on ideal squares. For example, let's take a look at the bishops. This bishop is closed completely with my pawns on d4, e5 and c5. This bishop is closed by his pawns, so it's not that great. Of course, my bishop also is not doing anything special on d6, but at least this one has open diagonal. I could also try to play maybe knight somewhere and on f5, but it would be very close position, so I didn't want to do that. E takes, d takes, and f takes maybe is not the best choice in this particular position, and especially bishop b5. Maybe I was thinking about something like e4, but I did not like bishop f6, queen f6, knight e4. Let's show it on the board. And yeah, and what else I was thinking? I was thinking h6 maybe would have been better, because then bishop f5 would make sense, because I would drop to bishop h7. But bishop f5 was quite provocative move, asking for e4. But of course, white shouldn't have played e4. I was thinking about knight h4. I think that would be great for white to play knight h4. Opens up the bishop on g2. It's with tempo. I have to go back. Actually, bishop f5 was very, very bad move from my side. Let's say I go to g4. Then white has opportunity to play knight f5, or drop the knight on e4, or kick the bishop on g4 with I'm sorry, with h3. So knight h4 I think would give white quite a big advantage. Also, rook f file is open. There are a lot of plans for white. Rook f2, rook a f1, maybe at some point breakthrough in the center with d4. A lot of opportunities. But after e4, the play completely dies. I have very important d4 square, and it needs a lot of time for white to, after bishop g4, I would actually play knight b1 with the idea of knight c3 and knight d5. So If you play e4, then you emphasize that I have weak square on d5, so you had to maneuver, like knight b1, knight c1, knight c3, and knight d5. This one was a little bit of losing tempos because white allowed me to play everything that I wanted to play. Queen d7, queen b1 was not very good move because we need b1 square for the knight to jump on c3 and d5. And after queen b1, I'm in time to do anything. And after rook d8, it's already very big advantage for black. Okay, so let's go for another games. If you have more questions, please feel free and ask in chat. I'm just gonna have a look. Seiban asking, does anybody know which tourney Sopiko was playing last week? It was not live. It's on chess results, but it was quite fun tournament, and I enjoyed it very much because it was very strong tournament. We had to compete with top 8 players of Georgia, and as you know, Georgian team is quite strong. And I found both systems very interesting. Maya Chess is great for training, great for calculation, great to be a universal type of player because maybe, for example, I'm a d4 player, c4, knight f3, or g3, but I got positions like Caracan or Spanish or Scotch, and it was great experience for me. I don't play those lines, and I had to find some ideas on the board. Okay, so any other questions? Not really. And now I'm going to play with second best move. Where are you? There you are. Second best move. And c4 again. Okay. Today I have c4 day, but not to repeat, I'm going to play e5. So now I'm playing Sicilian reversed version. Tempo down, of course. Ui. I expected some g3 or e3. Not d4. That's quite tough already. Okay, I have to think a bit. I'm not familiar with this position. One thing that comes to mind is taken bishop c5. We would have Scotch if it was not c4 and e4. What about e4? Knight goes where? To g5 maybe. And if I play bishop b5, okay, now I'm gonna play e takes d4 and bishop c5. I'm gonna take this one, g3, and bishop a6 first. Don't I have some kind of good things already going on or not? Hmm. Like I like this move. Oui. I thought I didn't see that the pawn was on c7. I wanted to jump queen a5 or queen b6, so I was like, oh, I like that move. Okay. It's getting late. No. Wait a minute. Maybe I have knight g4. What about knight g4? Knight d4, I would give a check. Now, if I play like this, what happens? There are a lot of holes in white's position. So that's why I took my time. If knight e4, I would take on a1. Then he would take. Then I would go bishop c8. But he cannot take on g4 because I'm going to take on c1. So I think my calculation is okay. He went for it. Yeah, I think it was actually the best way to go for it. Bishop g2. Bishop h3. Okay, but what if I'm just going to go back? And what if I just castle? I think I just have extra exchange. d6 is my next move. If I let white to consolidate, play queen e2, bishop b2 very fast, then I would be in trouble. But I'm not gonna let it. Bishop a2 is not a threat. Bishop a3 is what? Okay, I'm gonna go d6. I'm gonna take with this rook. And don't I just take here? That was a blunder. That was not second best move. And here is Anne. Thank you very much for the game. It was very interesting for me to face unfamiliar position because usually I face g3 here. I don't know, e3, g3, even a3. But of course, this should be a move. We can always check it in database. Actually, Chess24 has great option of checking the line you're interested in. Just scroll down and there is database tab and you will see how many games, who played and everything. So Chess24 is just perfect. Take, and bishop c5. Knight c6, take, g3. I'm not sure about g3 because it's very slow. With opening, with let's say taking on c6 with b pawn, I opened the bishop, which means that c4 pawn might be a bit of problem for white. G3, bishop a6, b3. Yeah, b3, I don't know also. Queen a4 looks much more natural. You protect the c4 pawn and also attack the bishop. If I go back, then it would be not so great actually. Maybe I have to play queen c8 with the idea of bishop b2, rook b8, that I have tempo, but white can play a3 anyway. I don't see big problems for white, or I don't see problems for black either. But with b3, white weakened the dark squares, and knight g4 already seems that white has some little problems. Maybe it was better to play knight e4 right here, and on bishop b4, which I was planning to play bishop d2, and here I was planning to play queen e2. I'm not completely sure it is the best move or not. Maybe it's simply nothing. But anyway, it's kind of equal. E3 I don't like. E3 I don't like. Because queen f6, it has double attack on f2 and on c3 knight. So maybe it was best here to play queen c2. But I was planning to play queen f3. It looks bad. Ah, no! Knight e4. Queen e4, sorry. And then it's okay. Then it's okay. So queen f3 doesn't work here. Yeah, maybe bishop b4. Yeah, that's the move probably. Because white cannot play bishop d2. I will take on f2. And what about bishop b2? Then I would play queen f3 because queen e4 doesn't work. Take and it's pinned. So it's very nice line actually. Very important bishop b4 move. I think very important because it pins the knight. Bishop was not doing anything on c5 if it doesn't sacrifice itself on e3. It doesn't do anything on c5 anymore. And with bishop, b4, we pin the knight, we win the tempo. Bishop d2 is not possible. Bishop b2 has to be played. And after queen f3, I think that black is just doing perfect. We ruined white's position, castling position, and I think we can even take here and just play this one. Knight f3 is coming anyway, so it seems to be not so good position for white. After knight e4, this was interesting, but actually white could play a bit more careful in sense that queen d3 I didn't like. Queen c2 maybe with the idea of bishop b2. Then I had to come back. Knight d3. I had to go here. But I still think that black is doing very good. I want to play d6, then c5, and it's still an extra exchange. Okay. Thank you very much. Second best move for the game. Let's see if you guys have any questions about a game miss tactic against miss strategy. Should it be possible? I don't think we find it very interesting because we are very, very, very good friends. Actually, we are best friends. So to play against your best friend is really, really tough. But who knows? Maybe one day we will plan something like that. My daughter wants to know in which age did you start playing chess? I started to play chess when I was 5 years old. My mother is a chess player. Before she got married, she was very, very good. She was playing in Soviet Union championships. She even won some tournaments. Then she got married. She has 3 kids. I have 2 elder sisters, and she just did not have so much time for chess anymore. But now she got back and she's playing some Blitz tournaments, or she's playing online a lot, and she's also playing some amateur tournaments as well. So actually, the story goes like this: that my mom did not have very big influence on me to play chess, because she thought it would be quite tough and quite difficult for a girl to sit for 5 hours and play chess. So she wanted me to dance or play some instrument or be more active rather than sitting on the chessboard. But I was at my grandma's place when it was summer, and she had a not full set of chessboard in her house, and that's why instead of chess, she taught me drafts. I don't really know what's the correct pronunciation of that. And some pieces were left, so I was like, Grandma, why don't you use those other pieces? Why don't you use, what are those for? And she was like, oh, it's a chess, but we don't have full set of chess at this moment, so let's play another game. And I was like, no, I like chess, I want to play chess. And I remember actually that I was going at night to sleep with chessboard in my hands like this. And I said that I want to play chess. And afterwards, my mother took me to chess palace, we call it in Georgia, with the teacher, and my mom took great care of my first steps in chess. And since that, I love playing chess, and I love being here on Chess 24 as well. What is the best opening for Blitz? Oh, that's quite a tough question. There are a lot of tricky openings for Blitz. If you're an e4 player, let's say e4, e5, f4 seems very tricky if black doesn't know. What else? Maybe if you don't want a lot of openings and a lot of lines, you can play some structure play, which is like if you want to play with white c4. I like c4 very much because you just develop pieces, you have your clear plan. Sometimes you play in the center, sometimes you close the center, sometimes you play on queen side, sometimes on king side. You have a lot of opportunities to choose, because c4 allows you to develop first with g3, or to develop with knight c3, play with e4 or play with e3. A lot of interesting ideas in the opening. So if you're playing with black, I still would recommend you to play neither, because it would be great for a standard chess as well. And against d4, of course, triangle Slav. Check the series on triangle Slav. I did very nice series. I'm being very modest. I did very nice series on triangle Slav. It's quite short. So you won't be confused, but ideas are explained very well. So if you like it, let me know. Okay, guys, thank you very much for being with me, for bearing me talking so much. Thank you for playing the games, and don't forget that next Thursday I'm gonna be here once again for you at 8 p.m. Already from Holland and not from Tbilisi because I have flight the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to Holland, so please be there. Stay tuned and